Hello, everybody. Welcome to Good as Gold. Tonight, we will be learning about goldfinches from Barb at Wild Birds Unlimited. Barb is the owner of Wild Birds Unlimited in Lexington Park and in LaPlata. She's an expert, and she does these virtual workshops for the St. Mary's County Library about every other month or every month, depending on the cycle that we are in. So here you go, Barb. It's all yours.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. So you're probably seeing a lot of goldfinch at your feeders right now because we are in goldfinch nesting season. They are actually just finishing up goldfinch nesting season. So you're seeing a lot of the young ones coming to the feeders right now. If you're not seeing them at your feeders, we're going to help you with that so we can get them coming to your feeders and solve whatever those issues are as to why they aren't at your feeders. So I'm going to share my screen here and we're going to pop into my PowerPoint here. Okay, so good as gold. Everything you need to know to attract the goldfinch to your feeders. First of all, just a little bit of goldfinch basics. On the left there is the male goldfinch. On the right is the female. As in most of our songbirds, the male gets to be the pretty one. The female needs to be a little more subdued because she's sitting on the nest and she needs to protect those young. So we need her to be a little more camouflaged. Goldfinches are found across North America. There's actually 3 species of goldfinch. The American goldfinch, which is the goldfinch that we have here. There's also a lesser goldfinch and a Lawrence's goldfinch. We were talking about that before the video started, but the only one we are going to have here is the American goldfinch, typically. Goldfinchers, sometimes you'll hear people talk about having wild canaries at their feeders. It's American goldfinch that you have at your feeders. They are American goldfinch. There are no wild canaries at your feeders. So I promise you, it's goldfinch that you're seeing out there. They are beautiful. They look gorgeous, but they are goldfinch. And then some basics. The American goldfinch inhabit most parts of the U.S. They move to the northern states during mating season and then to the southern states during the cold winter. We are fortunate here in Southern Maryland that we get to keep them all year long. So one of the most common things we hear from our customers in the wintertime, I took my feeders down, my goldfinch left. Goldfinch molt twice a year, which means they lose their feathers and change into their breeding plumage, which is what you're seeing in that picture. They have their nice, pretty, sexy, find a mate plumage on, looking all beautiful. But right now, as they finish up their nesting season, they're going to lose those gorgeous feathers and they're going to put on kind of an olive drab looking feather. So it's not going to be nearly as pretty. You're not going to be able to tell as clearly that those are those beautiful yellow American goldfinch that you're seeing because it's more subdued. It really is almost an olive drab looking color, but that's still your goldfinch. They still need you to offer that food to them. So if you keep those feeders out, you're going to keep those goldfinch coming all year long. And what foods do you need to offer for them? If you have black oil and sunflower chips, you will notice that they do come to those foods, but their absolute favorite food is Niger. A lot of people tend to call it thistle, but the correct word is actually Niger. That's that little tiny black seed. Niger is not grown in the US, so it has to be imported into the US. So it is, try to show you here, but it really is so tiny that you really are just going to see a black bag. It is a little tiny, tiny seed. Honestly, this sounds gross, but it looks like a mouse turd. If you see it laying on a counter, that is what it looks like. If you know what a little mouse poo-poo looks like, that's what Niger looks like. Um, Tiny seed has to be heat treated before it comes into the US. So of all of the seeds you'll find in our store, that is going to be the oldest seed that you find in our store. For that reason, we encourage you to buy your finch seed in smaller bags. If you're going through your seed every 3 or 4 weeks, then you can jump up to a larger bag. This one that I held up there, that's a 5-pound bag. So if you find that they're going through it this time of year, our customers are going through it much quicker. So it's okay to jump to a 10 or 20-pound bag. But otherwise, instead, come visit, buy your seed a little more often so that you're sure you're getting fresh Niger. Their second favorite food is sunflower chips. So there is a food you can buy called Finch Blend. And what that is that Niger and sunflower chips that are just chipped really tiny, as small as that Niger, and mixed together. So now you've taken, it's kind of like your peanut butter cup when you take the chocolate and you mix the peanut butter so you get those two ooey gooey things together. That's what Finch Blend is. The two favorite foods of the finch mixed together so it gives them all the goodness that they love. So here's the deal. If you're hanging that finch feeder where the squirrels can get to it, then I need you to stay with straight Niger. In the process of heat treating that Niger to bring it into the US, the squirrels decide they don't like straight Niger. The minute we add that sunflower chips into it and turn it into Finch Blend, the squirrels are all about it. So if you have it on a pole system with a baffle, or you're using we actually have one here in the store. There are feeders, Finch Blend feeders that are squirrel proofed. If you're using that, you can then use the Finch Blend, which is the sunflower chips and the Niger. So you want to make sure if you're going to use the Finch Blend that you either have a pole system with a baffle or you're using a finch feeder that is squirrel proof, because otherwise those squirrels are going to be all about that Finch Blend. You will find that you get more finch with Finch Blend than you will with straight Niger, but either one will bring you a good variety. Now here's the key. When you go and buy that Niger, I want you to open that bag and rub it between your fingers. If it's dry and crackly, that's old Niger. And those finch are going to turn their little beaks up at that and move on to your neighbors. Our seed comes in weekly so that we can make sure we're bringing in fresh Niger. Before I opened my store, I used to drive to Arlington to get fresh Niger because every time I would buy a bag, it was already old. So again, I can't stress enough of making sure you're getting fresh Niger and you're not stocking up too much, or you will struggle to get those goldfinch. They are very finicky little birds, and they really want that fresh seed. Store your Niger in a cool area or even a refrigerator to preserve it. Goldfinch are one of the strictest vegetarians in the bird world. That's actually why they wait until so late in the summer to nest. They are our last nesters of the summer. So you've probably noticed chickadees, titmice, bluebirds, everybody's been done nesting. But now I'm telling you, yeah, the goldfinch are just now finishing up their nesting. They waited until things went to seed because as strict vegetarians, they needed to make sure that they were going to have plentiful seed to feed their young. So when they go out to get food to bring back to their young, they grab a beak full of food, get it all ready in there and bring it up and regurgitate it out and bring enough to feed all of their little babies that seed. But it's only going to be seed. They're not bringing back any mealworms like our bluebirds do. They're bringing back nothing but seed to feed their young. Any seed that's out there, if it's been out there for more than 3 to 4 weeks, you need to empty that, take it out, toss it in the woods. Somebody else, as far as like a squirrel, a fox, somebody else may come and eat that, but those goldfinch are not going to eat it if it's older than 3 to 4 weeks. If it has gotten wet, same thing, they are not going to come to it. You want to keep those seeds clean and dry. I always recommend with your tube feeders to add a weather guard to them. So a weather guard, I know a lot of stores sell these weather guards as squirrel baffles. Those are not going to keep squirrels out. A squirrel will hang right here, just flip around it or eat their way through it. It's plastic. This is actually a weather guard that's going to help keep your seed dry. So I recommend adding weather guards onto those. And then when you're looking for feeders, there's several different styles you can look for. The one I had picked up here is a perch feeder. So with this style, your goldfinch can just land right on the perch and eat from that style. You can also choose a mesh feeder. So again, a mesh feeder, they're going to cling right onto the side there. Again, absolutely make sure you have that weather guard because as you can see, that's going to get very wet very quickly. The only time I use my mesh feeders is during nesting season when my food is going down really quickly, just because here in Southern Maryland, with all this rain and humidity we've had, this seed goes bad really quickly. So unless my other feeders are just going empty really quickly, I don't bring my mesh feeders out of storage. And then there's the good old socks that everybody's aware of. Honestly, I don't use the socks at all. Seed is expensive. If your seed gets wet once in this, you might as well empty it, wash the sock, and refill it. I never recommend buying a sock with seed already in it. I've already cautioned you at how careful you need to be at making sure that that seed's not more than just a few weeks old. You can guess if this were hanging in a store with Niger in it, how old that Niger or Finch blend probably is. So if you're going to buy the Finch socks, you want to buy the Finch sock empty and fill it yourself so you can control the freshness in there. And then if you are going to use a Finch sock, you can actually get weather guards that you hang these from, so you can still get some protection from the weather. And I know it's cool to see the Finch hanging all over the little bag there, but you are going to waste more of your seed. So just be aware of that. Let's see. So hanging your feeders. So you always want to hang your feeders. As you can see, these feeders I have hanging here, those are hanging way too low. Your feeders should be hanging above your head. If you have multiple hooks on your feeding station, you want your finch feeders to be hanging from the highest hooks. Goldfinch prefer to eat from high up. So if I had 4 hooks and 2 of them were up higher and 2 lower, I would hang my finch feeders on the highest hooks because they do prefer to eat from higher up. Your goal is always going to be that your finch feeder be higher than your head. And then filling and cleaning your feeders. So a couple little tricks on that. If you have feeders like this where the bottom pops off, so as I mentioned, goldfinch prefer to eat from higher up. If they fly in here, they prefer to eat from the top down. So as you saw, let me pop that back on here. Has anybody ever done the whole trick where you have to use a screwdriver to get the bottoms off of your feeders? If you've ever done that, you really appreciate that the bottoms come off of these ones for cleaning. But since they're going to be eating that food from the top down, I recommend on a finch feeder, if the bottom pops off, that you fill it from the bottom up. So now they're going to be eating that oldest seed first because you just put the freshest seed in the bottom. And I said they like to eat from the top down. So let them eat that old seed first. Next time you fill it, same thing, you fill from the bottom. That leaves your oldest seed at the top where they prefer to eat from. And then just another little trick, once a week or so, go out, give your feeder a shake, make sure the seed hasn't clumped up in there. If that seed has clumped up, that means it's gotten wet from humidity, from rain. You'll need to toss that and start over. I can't stress enough how finicky these little goldfinch are. And then cleaning your feeders, you do want to clean them every couple months or so. This particular feeder I have here, if you notice, it has grayed out on the side versus this one that is clear. So you can see this one, the sides are clear, this one is gray. This has an antimicrobial coating on it. So that when the antimicrobial coating has a coating that will help prohibit the growth of mold and mildew so that you can clean with plain water unless you have seen a finch that seems to have something wrong with its eye. Finches are prone to an eye disease, very similar to, it's contagious as far as similarity to the kids and the pink eye that they get and the way it spreads. So if you see that going on at your feeders, you want to take those feeders down, clean those feeders, 1 part bleach, 9 parts water. First you want to clean them, then you want to soak them in that 1 part bleach, 9 parts water to disinfect them. Rinse it well, let it dry, and then you can refill them. If you see that finch come back again, then you're going to repeat it, take it down, do it again, and then leave them down for a week to encourage the goldfinches and other finches to disperse. It is only contagious to finch, so your other birds aren't going to be a problem with it. Typically, you can take it down the first time, put it back up, and that one will have moved on or passed out of the area. But you definitely want to clean that. If you're having that problem, you see that at your feeders, you can definitely give us a call in the store. All of our team goes through a very thorough training, and we're happy to answer questions, give you guidance on that. So don't hesitate to give us calls if you're dealing with something like that that you're unsure of. So hanging, filling, we've covered that. Let's move on here. Okay, because they are strictly vegetarians, when birds eat mealworms, caterpillars, they're getting moisture from their foods or berries. But because they are strictly eating a seed diet, it's extremely important that they have good access to fresh, clean water. So again, if you want to have goldfinch, you definitely want to make sure that you're offering them a water source and keeping fresh water out there for them. So a bird bath, low pan of water, things like that that you can offer them. As you can see here, this is a dripper that things like this that you connect onto the side of a bird bath. And I will tell you, they absolutely love that. And just like is shown in that picture, that is what they do on mine at home. They'll get up there and drink from it. No electric is required for that one. It just hooks to a garden hose. You leave it dripping a little bit. or you can leave it spraying, whichever you choose. Spraying, the hummingbirds actually love to fly through the spray, but they'll pop up there. But even just a plain bird bath is important, though, for the goldfinches. Uh, yeah, so a bird bath, small dish of water. If you have feral cats in your yard, you want to make sure that have that small dish up elevated and keep it away from any bushes, shrubs, things like that, where the cats can hide, lay in waiting, and then hop out and grab the birds. So you want to be aware of that when you're selecting a location. You also want that bird bath a little bit of distance from the food, because a lot of times after the birds have eaten, they're going to offload before they fly, and you're going to struggle to keep that bird bath clean. So it'll be a little bit easier to keep it clean if you don't have it too close to the food. So, just 10 feet or so away from the food source is going to help you with keeping that clean. And again, if you need answers on how to keep it clean or anything, give us a call in the store, stop in and see us. Or even if you're trying to figure out how to set your setup, take pictures of your yard, of your setup where you have things, and bring those pictures in to see us. We love to problem solve. I mentioned this already, that goldfinch do mate later in the season, typically August to September here in Southern Maryland. The way you're going to be able to tell those juveniles at the feeder is they're going to be there and just flapping those little wings, begging anybody to feed them. They don't care if it's a goldfinch, if it's a cardinal, a starling, anybody that will feed them, they're going to be begging. So you'll hear a lot of little noise and then see those little wings flapping. They prefer to nest in forked branches of a tree, typically about 30 feet high, somewhere near water. But typically, it's going to be a shaded location, a shrub tree. The most common, though, is going to be 3 to 10 feet from the ground. So it's typically going to be a lower location. It's kind of tough to find their nest. They do a pretty good job at hiding them. Females will often return to the same site. They won't reuse that same nest, but somewhere in the similar area. They will often use the fluff from milkweed or cattails, dandelion to line their nests. You can also put out these little fluff balls, hang these out there for them to pull from. You just pull a couple little threads loose to get it blowing in the wind, and they will use those as well to pull from. Let's see. Again, they can actually weave their nests so tightly that it will temporarily hold water in them. So they build a really pretty tightly woven nest. Typically only one brood a year for goldfinch. On occasion, the more senior goldfinches can have a second brood. If she decides she's going to do this, she finds a second partner for that second brood. The female chooses her nest site. She builds a nest, incubates the eggs all on her own, and then she feeds for the first 4 days. After the first 4 days, the male takes over feeding. So that's when she has the time, if she's going to, on the rare occasion, to have a second brood, that's when she goes off with the other man and has that second brood, because she's at day 4, it's time for the other one. So if something were to happen to a female in those first 4 days, her nest would not survive because the male doesn't step in until the 4th day. Their clutch size is typically 2 to 7 eggs. And like I said, typically it's going to be one brood, but on a rare occasion, there may be a second brood. They're going to set on the eggs for 12 to 14 days. Once the eggs hatch, they will be in that nest for 11 to 17 days. The eggs will be a pale white, kind of a bluish tint to them. And sometimes there'll be small, faint brown spots around the large end. And then just a few fun facts. The American goldfinch is our only member of the family to complete 2 molts a year. So in the spring, they're going to molt into that sexy bright yellow breeding plumage. Well, the male has the bright yellow. The females will be a little more subdued. And then after nesting season, so you're going to start to see this now, they're starting to look a little raggedy. So that picture there is showing them in the non-breeding plumage there. So you can see that they look totally different from what we're seeing right now. Let's see. Where most birds will grab their seeds and go, goldfinches will actually hang out. So if you have our pole system, it's knocking things down here. If you have our pole system, adding this perch to it will actually give them a location. This perch was actually designed with the goldfinches in mind. So adding this perch gives them a place to hang out and wait between bites. And they'll actually take turns at your feeders, and you can keep them around. A group of goldfinches is actually called a charm. I think that's a very appropriate name for such a pretty little bird. And then I kind of mentioned this, gave this one away earlier, but when the female comes back, or the male, as after the 4th day, comes back to feed their young, the crop is full of digested seed, and it's enough to feed that whole brood of them. So because of the amount that they bring back, it's enough that they only have to feed them twice every hour. And I will tell you, I used to be a wildlife rehabber, and one of my specialties was songbirds. And with the young nestlings, it was every 10 minutes of feeding them. So I would no sooner get done with one nest and move to the next one than it was time to start over again. So only feeding twice every hour would be pretty amazing. Instead of, by the time you got done with one nest and moved on, the other ones were starting up again. Okay, and that is all I have on our goldfinches. So let's see what questions you have. I'm going to take this off share.
Right now we have a question. Miss Shirley asks, can I add a weather guard to my mesh feeder?
Yes, definitely add it to your mesh feeder. So is it a mesh feeder that you got from us, Shirley? You can take it off mute.
No, it isn't.
Okay, can you grab me one with a hook? This is why my husband comes with me for these talks. He's my little runner.
Okay.
So you can bring a picture, one of them with the hook. This is a smaller one that he's grabbed, but we have larger ones with hooks that we can add to.
Oh,
So it
okay.
would just hang up a little higher. It wouldn't nest on it here. Now there should be one in between.
One in between?
Yeah. Actually, let me grab it right here. Here, Terry. And there's several different styles, different colors that we have here. So you
Okay.
can either bring us a picture of it, or if there's nothing in it at the time, you can even bring it in and we can test them out size-wise.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Mike has a question. Are there any other birds that can eat from a finch feeder?
Yes, great question. So goldfinches and house finches can. Actually, sometimes you will even see your downy woodpeckers in there eating from them. And in the winter months, sometimes our pine siskins will be in there. On an eruption year, if we get pine siskins, I have not heard yet whether they are coming this year or not. they've had a drought up north, so we may see them this year. But when they're here, they also will eat from finch feeders.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. This is Regina. Hi, Barb.
Hi, Regina.
And hello, Mike. This is Regina. They used to buy everything out of the store. I know I haven't been in a while. um, I noticed your picture. It had the goldfinches on the yellow flowers, the black-eyed Susans. And I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to say that I noticed they also eat from the seeds from that flower, because I used to wonder before they started dying out, they were disappearing. I was like, what is going on? What is this eating my flowers? Then finally I found those little cute rascals eating you're just chopping away, but it was okay with me because they were in their dying season anyway, getting ready to die out. Mm,
Exactly. Yeah,
mhm.
coneflowers, black-eyed Susans. What else, Mike?
Yes.
Come off a mute, Mike, and help me on this. This is your
Mhm.
specialty.
Uh, they'll also eat the purple flower called gay feather, and it's got another name. I can't think of the name of it. It's a
Mm,
native, and they like
mm.
what's the other thing?
Any back there, Joe?
I can't think of the name of the other one, but it's a very small seed as well that they like.
Mhm.
Oh, I
Okay.
like cosmos and coreopsis are wildflowers they like as well.
Okay. So,
And just,
so just leave those, the
yeah,
dead heads on them, right, for the whole year?
exactly. Yeah, don't deadhead your flowers. Leave those. The birds will love those.
Mm-hmm.
Susan here says the evening primrose as well. They've been eating on those.
Mm.
Um, so a real quick intro here to Mike there.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Mm-hmm.
actually sitting in our LaPlata store right now.
Hey,
But
Mike.
Mike works at our LaPlata store and has recently accepted a new position with us as our education director for both stores.
Oh, perfect.
So he's
Congratulations.
going to be doing a lot of talks with us and that. So
Mhm.
he's doing some background training here with us tonight so he can start doing more talks with us too.
Oh,
Thank,
way to
thank
go,
you,
Mike.
Barb.
Yeah,
I have another question too. The goldfinches, like you said, they lose their color during the winter months, well, or before winter.
right.
And I'm seeing these ones that kind of flock together. I don't know if it's the charm group that you were talking about. They look like finches, but I want to make sure they're not the ones that's in the parking lot. Um, so I'm kind of confused, but I know it's a group of them.
Yeah, so we are
Mhm.
seeing a lot of house finches at the feeders right now as well.
Okay, yeah.
Do you have finch feeders up?
I do. I have one, but they didn't go through the seed as much this year. So I'm going to go out there and do like you said. I have the finch feeder that you showed at your store. And I have the cover over it.
Okay,
Um, and I guess I better check to make sure the seed is not old
yeah.
because they didn't go through it like they did last year as much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
would definitely think about changing that out, clean that feeder.
Okay.
The reason
Mm-hmm.
I was asking is if those birds are eating at that finch feeder,
Mm-hmm.
then you can rest assured they're house finches. Those
Oh,
sparrows wouldn't be eating at the finch feeder.
okay.
But you can, the ones I refer to is
Mhm.
as parking lot birds, the house
Yeah.
sparrows.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
Um, what I refer to as parking lot birds are the house sparrows. The males on
Oh.
those would have a ugly dark spot on its neck.
Mhm.
So if none of those in that flock have a dark spot, my guess
Mhm.
is you're probably seeing house finches. And
Okay.
let me ask you this, do any of them have red on them?
I haven't seen any red,
Okay,
mostly brown and white, white on them, kind of like
right.
brown. They remind you of the finch though, the way their design is.
With the stripes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of house finches at feeders. House finches are a bird that will never forget where to find a feeder.
Oh.
So
Mm-hmm.
in rough times, if they have fed from your feeder at one point, they will always remember that they can come to your house for a to find a feeder. So
Okay.
they never
Mm-hmm.
forget where to find a meal. So
Mhm.
we're going to just hope they're house finches. But
Right.
if you can get a picture of any
Mhm.
of them and bring into the store or email us, we can definitely help identify those. And
Okay, I'll
while
do
we're
that.
on that
Mhm.
subject, if you're noticing that your feeders aren't busy right now,
Mhm.
two things. One, with all the rain and humidity that we've had, I would say clean your feeders, put fresh seed in there because
Mhm.
it takes no time for that seed to go moldy. And you
Mhm.
may not even notice that happen.
Mhm.
And two, the other thing that's going on is everything has gone to seed right now. And as much as your birds love and appreciate you, they know that nature's best. So you kind of become
Mhm.
chopped liver during this time of year. They
Right.
move out to nature, they feed
Mhm.
from nature, and they'll be back. So
Okay.
go ahead and keep those feeders full, keep them clean. Actually, you don't have to keep them full, keep seed in them. You know,
Mhm.
you can put a little bit less in them if you're not seeing them eat it all up, but keep food there so that, like I said, those house finches always know where to find a meal.
Mhm.
Keep food there so that when they are looking for food, that they come back and they find that you have it. Because if your feeder's empty or that seed is nasty, they're
Mhm.
going to head over to your neighbors, and guess where they're going to spend their winter.
Ah.
So you need to have the buffet open when
Mhm.
they run out of natural foods.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Sure.
Mhm.
So, Barb, if you could mention, since we were talking about seeds and mold, if you could mention the seeds and moths when it's, if you like keep your seeds in a high
Yeah.
place.
So we were talking before about it being cold in the store. In our stores, we keep it at 68 degrees because we do not treat any of our seed with pesticides because obviously that would not be good for the birds.
Mhm.
So we keep it at 68 in here. So we're often walking around freezing.
Mhm.
But because it's slower at your feeders right now, you want to make sure you keep that seed where it's cool so that it doesn't hatch moth. Any seed can have moth larvae in it. You know, that just is a natural product of when it's harvested in the fields. It's a matter of when it decides to hatch. So,
Mhm.
you know, if you're keeping it in the house or something, you need to keep it in a closed container, a plastic container, metal container, whatever. Don't just pop it open in the house because if it hatched something in there, now you just opened that all up into the kitchen or pantry or
Oh,
wherever.
wow.
So
Ooh.
take it outside and open it. If you do get insects in there, that seed is not wasted. That's just added protein for the
Mhm.
birds. That's a natural food source. You just don't want to get that in your house. You know,
Mhm.
if you do, we have moth traps that you can set, but it's just a pain to get them out of there.
Mhm.
So this time of year, you only want to buy as much seed as you're going to use in 3 weeks or so, or put it in the freezer to freeze off anything. But we will never treat our seed with pesticides because the bird's health comes first.
Mhm. Right. Mhm.
Good.
Mhm.
You don't want
And then be
birds.
careful keeping it out in hot sheds, hot garages, things like that. But again,
Mhm.
you're better off to buy it in smaller quantities and let us keep it fresh for you. This is why we have a Chip will be in here tomorrow at 4 o'clock in the morning unloading seed. If you walk into either of our stores tomorrow, you will find our team sweaty and huffing and puffing because Wednesday is seed day in our store, and that's when our pallets full of seed come in.
So,
Mhm.
are you saying we should come in on Thursdays to get restock on all the seeds?
No, all of ours is rotated through. So you're basically getting seed at the oldest about a week old at any time.
Ooh, okay,
Yep.
that's great.
Okay, so don't be too bad with them,
No,
huh?
actually you want to friend them. We've
Okay.
got, if you've been to our Lexington Park store,
Mhm.
we've got Edgar Allan Crow out here, and he'll
Mhm.
come out and let us know when he wants us to bring him a handful of seed out.
Oh.
And he'll actually walk up to the door and let us know that he's out there and wants a handful of seed brought out.
Does he bring you presents?
He does not bring us, we've not had him bring us any presents yet. Mike, have you guys, your crow at LaPlata brought you guys presents? Do you know?
Not that I know of, and the one in my yard, their present is to wake me up, or when I'm getting ready to take my shower, stand outside the bathroom window and squawk, "Why aren't you putting food out?"
Yeah. Crows are a fun bird. Crows
No
and blue
shame.
jays both.
The other one that's black, that maybe it's not the crow I'm thinking about, is
The grackles,
yes, the grackles. Those are the ones that eat up.
those are a whole
the seed.
different story. Yeah.
Those are the ones, not the crows. You're right, because they do keep those hawks.
Yeah, the grackles bring the
Mhm.
whole clan.
Yes, they eat
Yeah.
up everything. Oh, I had been having to take some of my feeders down and
Yeah.
put them back up in the morning once I wake up, because they'll be out there getting to it before I can get to it, and they cost me more money.
Yeah. You can use
Mhm.
safflower, or you can put cages on your feeder. Do a
Mhm.
combination of both
Yeah.
to prevent the grackles.
Hmm. Okay. But you know what else I noticed, and I don't want to take up all the time. They were also eating the black sunflower oil seeds.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
And
they
I
will
thought
definitely eat black oil.
wow, I thought they didn't like those. Oh,
Oh yeah, they do.
oh yeah.
Yeah, safflower they don't, because it's a really hard shell and
Hmm.
they have a gape in their bill, so it's hard for them to crack that shell.
Okay. The other thing, when you were talking about the goldfinches, you mentioned what was the eye disease? How to look out for if one of
Yeah.
them had
Finch
that?
eye disease. So if you ever notice usually people notice it, that there'll be a finch just sitting at their feeder,
Hmm.
and it'll sit there for a prolonged period of time. And if you walk up to it, it doesn't fly away.
Okay.
So if you're able to get your hands on it and get it to a rehabber,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time people can't get their hands on it and get it to a rehabber. But in a case like that, you do need to take your feeders down, empty that seed, clean those feeders, and then disinfect them. Somebody's got a question. This is a great one about hummingbird feeders. So hummingbird feeders are moving out of the area now, but we do ask you to keep at least one hummingbird feeder up through Halloween, preferably through Thanksgiving. There's still juveniles here. I had at least one female and male juvenile yesterday. They're still here, and there's still going to be migrators moving on through from the north. So these ones that come through, the late stragglers coming through, there's not going to be a lot of natural food sources for them as they come through later.
Right.
So if you can keep a feeder with nectar up for them, you can actually make all the difference in the world for them as they're trying to fuel up and migrate south. If you find any coming through after, say, mid-October, we would ask that you try to get pictures and get them to us so that we can get them into the hummingbird experts and see if you have a rarity. If you do, they may want to try to come out and ban that one so that they can track it. Every year, typically in each county, we tend to have one late one that stays. I know in Wildwood, Charles, and Calvert, there's usually one rufous hummingbird that will tend to make its presence known for a while. So after mid-October, if you're still seeing somebody, really try to get a picture and send it to us so we can have that looked at. Preferably one from the back side showing the back feathers, and then from the front as well if you can. But yeah, definitely if you can, it would be appreciated if you can leave a feeder at least one up. If you were feeding front and back, one in the front, one in the back through Halloween, preferably Thanksgiving. You won't have to change your nectar as often once it starts getting cooler, but watch once it starts to get cloudy, then it's time to change it. And we do have that nectar defender you can put in it that will extend the life expectancy.
Yep. I just seen one yesterday, and I thought they had made their way and was gone, and I was so happy to still see.
Yeah, no, they're still around.
Yep.
All right. Do we have any more questions? Any questions at all about birds or bird feeders while we have Barb here?
And Jenny's asking why she's not seen any bluebirds. That is because, like I was saying, you're chopped liver right now. There's plenty of insects out there, so they are feeding on the insects right now. But if you would, make sure all your houses are cleaned out, because they will be back any day to check your houses, make sure they're available so that they can roost in those over the winter months. But as soon as it gets a little bit colder and those insects start dying off, they'll be back at your feeders. So you want to have those suets ready for them so they can come back then. But yeah, they're feeding off the insects right now.
Okay. Let me see. So the next one will be in October. It's going to be chickadees, titmice, and I can't pronounce the other one.
Nuthatches.
Nuthatches. Oh, okay. I thought maybe they were pronounced like special or something.
No.
Nuthatches. That will be Thursday, October 23rd. Okay. So thank you very much, Barb, for coming out. And thank you, Mike, too. We look forward to having you teach us, too. Oh, Joanne has a question before we leave. How to test the food again?
Oh, the Niger. So open your bag of Niger and rub it between your fingers. If it's dry and just crumbles between your fingers, then it is old Niger and you can toss it away.
And we should also check at our feeders too, that one, the one hanging.
Yeah, at your feeders, give it a shake. If you know it's been there more than 3 weeks, you can just toss it.
Okay.
But if it's been there less than 3 weeks, give it a shake, and if it's clumped up, you can toss it.
Oh, so don't buy a bunch of Niger at one time then.
Exactly. Yeah, Niger is not something you should stock up on.
Okay.
I know, especially when we opened our LaPlata store, we had to do a lot of retraining because there had been another bird store that they had shopped at, and they had been buying it in 40-pound bags. We don't even sell it in bags that size.
Oh, wow.
Remember that, Mike? A lot of retraining we had to do.
40-pound bags.
They're just throwing their money away at that point when you're buying it like that.
And also the blue jays, I guess we should be seeing more of those soon, right? Coming into the winter months.
Yeah, you should be seeing blue jays. Their favorite foods are acorns and then peanuts in the shell. So if you've got a lot of acorns, they'll be eating those. But once they get those all stored away and then they'll be at your feeders for the peanuts in the shell.
Yep, you're right. They do like those peanuts.
They do. And they're another great guardian to have. They will chase off any snakes around your houses, any hawks, owls. They are definitely a good one to have in your yard.
I am so glad to hear that the hawks don't bother them then. Wow.
No, they will chase the hawks away.
Wow. Okay. The only thing that I noticed, the crow bird, I think it was the crow, unless it was the grackle, had chased off a blue jay that was finally starting to visit. And I was telling Mike when I came in the store that I hadn't seen a blue jay in a long time because of that. So, yeah, I'm not sure which bird that was. But both of them went head to head, and finally that blue jay gave up, and I was like, oh no.
Right.
I just love the blue. It's just something about that blue. I love the yellow too. I mean, even the woodpeckers, I mean, the colors that God made is just so gorgeous. I'm sorry, I can go on and on.
All right. Okay, well, thank you very much. And we will see you again Thursday, October 23rd.
All right. Thank you all.